This episode is brought to you by KG Productions for KrsnaKnows.
Good evening. We are doing the Narada Bhakti Sutra. Yesterday we were talking about what is called as avoiding arguments, and today we are going to do something which is called how to cultivate devotion. So there are certain techniques which Narada has prescribed, so we will do those. We will see what these techniques are all about. We are doing the Narada Bhakti Sutra, Sutra 76. Books on devotion should be reflected upon and the instructions must be pursued diligently. Now, books of devotion, they should be reflected upon. For every other path that is there are practices. What are the practices? We have done them elsewhere. They are meditation, pranayama, then reading the scriptures, bahating them, learning the Vedas, the Shastras. It's like an endless thing which is there in all other paths. What is there in devotion? How does a person become a devotee? We have actually been exposed to this from our childhood. As a kid, we have heard stories from our parents and grandparents and our teachers, and they have told us different stories. Be it Ramayana, Mahabharata, or stories of great people. Now, in today's day and age, most of these schools and institutions are trying to eliminate this. They are becoming what they call themselves as secular. Now, secularism doesn't mean you remove stories which everybody has grown up for the last so many thousand years. You don't give up these kind of things which are going to lead a person towards something better in life. At the advent of the last century, the Macaulay system of education came into the picture in India. And because of which, literally all the changes that you are seeing today came into being. They all wanted us to have a different set of understanding. And that is the reason why you will find that most of the youngsters today have no understanding of any of our old stories. The ancient stories that the parents and the grandparents and the teachers and in the schools we were exposed to. Now I am saying we, that means way back in time. I don't know about the current generation. The current generation is completely devoid of that. They are more exposed to the knowledge of computers and cell phones and those kind of things. But for the sake of devotion, please understand, if you do not expose your children and the next generation to these beautiful tales that are there, then their growth in the spiritual world is curbed. It will be cut off. So Narada has said, books on devotion should be reflected upon and their instructions must be pursued diligently. These stories are very simple, straightforward, but they have some very strange kind of people in it, which the logical world doesn't believe in today. The logical world outside says that there can be no Ganesha or there can be no Hanuman. But there are channels in the TV which are playing those. And we have some very great people nowadays who create stories around these characters, by the way. Stories which actually never happened, they are not mentioned in any of the scriptures, but the younger generation is exposed to a Krishna which nobody has ever heard of. Yes, I know the Krishna who used to rob the butter and all that, but coming up with modern weaponry and systems like that, I doubt it. Even Ganesha and Hanuman is shown with some latest kind of stuff. They are not characters from some serial, you see. you have abroad the Avengers and all that. Those are comic strips. The comic strips are converted into different kinds of stories, and they are all concocted versions. Our stories are not written in the last 100 years. See, you have to understand this. Our stories were written thousands of years ago. And these stories have been the foundation of spirituality. Just imagine, a few years back in 1975, a movie came out and it became a religion. A movie which I think quite a lot of people during that age, now also, they believe in it. Let the force be with you. My God, it became a religion. And the sage over there is called Yoda, the Star Wars, People converted it into a religion. It is not a true story. There is no basis for that story, and yet it became a religion. When people look at each other, they say, and let the force be with you. Something like that. But our stories, which are very, very ancient, they are part, some people call it mythology, you see, mythical stories. They are not. They are stories woven around so that we, as very simple minds, can understand the truth. Alright? And these are the stories which we have to learn. Read them. So the first step in devotion. Nothing great. You don't have to go to any classes anywhere. You can read simple stories based on Ramayana, Mahabharata, or some of the great sages, saints. There are great books which are available. So Narada is saying, take those stories, read them, study them properly. There are certain reasons why the story is woven like that. And we have to find a deeper meaning in them. Say for example, you find Sri Krishna is shown as lifting the entire Govardhan hill. The entire Govardhan hill is lifted. All the people of that particular vicinity, they come and stand below that hill, and they are protected by rain. That is written. Now, what do you have to think about this story? The first thing that a person looks at, a logical mind or a person who is a non-believer will say, how can anybody lift a hill? It's all fake, There are deeper meanings in it. What is he trying to say? What is the Bhagavatam saying? What is that Krishna Leela all about? We have to decipher it. We have to break it down and understand the true meaning of the word. Govardhan, hill, Indradev, he is the one who has brought the rain down, isn't it? Now I will give you an example which I was reading today morning. And this example is more than 3,500 years old. This is a written book and it is a very ancient book. In that it was mentioned that the people who were staying on both sides of the river, and the river is Nile, River Nile. It is also mentioned that they were very close to the salty waters. Now the moment you say salty waters, you can understand we are very close to a sea. River is on one side, sea is on one side. There is a mention of a pharaoh. There is a mention of a pharaoh. There is a mention of an entire group of people staying on the banks of Nile. They had very big villages over there. And the pharaoh, he was the king of that entire place. Suddenly one day, the sky became dark and it started raining fire and brimstones, Now think what is being said over here. It is history. History, by the way. Do you understand? It tells us very clearly that there were some showers from outer space of maybe some meteors or some asteroid. We don't know what exactly hit the earth. But if somebody were to go and do the research on this subject, they will come to know. And then what happened? There were clouds of smoke. Everything was burning down. And it went on for quite some time. And the sky was completely dark and brown in color. Things were burning all over the place. The sea had swollen. Does it sound vague? Or is it telling us clearly what it means? So it is telling us clearly this is what happened. And this was documented by a person. And the pharaoh, he is running away from one place to the other. And when he is running away, a missile. Now it is not that missile. I'm not saying there was some gun or anything like that or something like that. No. Another big structure, a stone from outer space comes and hits him. His chariot is completely demolished. So he's thrown out. And then he gathers his people. He's alive. He gathers his people and he runs away to another village. Meanwhile, his children who are there in the other village, they are also running away. The king from the other side, now they are mentioned in this, the king who was on the side of the god, the kingdom of the gods. Now what are they talking about? Egypt on one side is facing Asia on the other side, if you remember. So somebody from there, a king from there came and started conquering everybody over there. Now, if you look at this story, it will tell you a lot of historical facts. Similarly, Ramayana tells us a lot of history. Doesn't it tell you that these are real stories? Yes, a certain amount of data might be incorporated so that it sounds very nice to our ears. Everybody knows that there is a landmass below from India to Sri Lanka. There are stones which are more like the pumice kind of stones, a different kind of stones which can float. there is Dwarka. The kingdom of Dwarka is under the sea. Everything is there. So what is Narada talking to us? He is saying, don't go and discard the stories. See, don't think that this is not logically possible. Teach your children these stories. They have a lot of spiritual importance in them. They have tremendous amount of knowledge and goodness and truth in them. We are talking only of that. And it is important that we follow those things. So he says the book of devotion should be reflected upon. Think about it. Book of devotion should be reflected upon. Whenever a person comes to me and says, Guruji, I want to learn. So I tell that person, I say, first thing that you got to do is, don't go and buy some big texts and massive stuff from outside and try to learn the Sanskrit version of it and all that concocted and things which your mind is not even going to understand. This is difficult. Why would you want to do a difficult problem first? Haven't you been taught in school and college to first attempt the simplest of the issues? So do the simple ones first and then go to the complicated ones. So go and read the storybooks. The stories of devotion are quite a lot. Now last so many days I am telling you so many stories. Every day there are at least 2-3 stories bundled inside a satsang. Today also there is going to be a story, of course. So think. The stories are important. We have to understand what is written over there. So when someone comes to me, I tell them, okay, take this book. Now, a serious person who may be a grown-up person, say 25 or 30 years of age, now he maybe knows Ramayana, Mahabharata. I assume that he knows. I assume that he has seen all the serials in the television also. I assume, okay, simple thing. So what do? I tell them, have you heard of Ramakrishna Paramahansa? Have you heard of Sai Baba? Have you heard of Ramana Maharshi? These kind of people, who are current, just a century away, and who are valued today. We consider them as spiritual people. So I tell them, read these books. I personally give them. And I tell them, read it like a story first. Don't complicate your mind in trying to decipher what is written in that right at the first go. Read it just like that, like a storybook. When you read it the first time, it will appear simple. The second time when you read the same stuff, it's going to appear a little bit tricky and different. Then the third time it becomes very, very spiritual to you. Then you will understand what is written in that. And then when you have a spiritual master with you, ask him what is written over there. What is the meaning of those words? If Sai Baba has said certain words, what does it mean? If Ramakrishna Paramahansa has said certain words, what does it actually mean? And why was he behaving in a particular manner? You will not immediately understand it. That is the reason why I am there. There are people who will be able to give you an answer. So, in devotion also, when you ask your spiritual master what exactly it means, he will be able to guide you properly. That is the meaning. So you got to reflect on it, and then there are instructions which must be pursued diligently. all these books have instructions. I will give you a certain example to tell you what are these instructions. Now it is written, let us say, if you have finished reading a pothi, a scripture, a pothi, a storybook, what are you supposed to do? It is mentioned in that particular book, even if it is Guru Charitra. It is mentioned over there. After you finish reading, do a samapti. That means the last day, when you are reading it, there is a procedure that you need to follow. Consider that book as a very, very profound and a deep devotional book, a scripture, and then keep it and pray to it, and maybe feed one or two Brahmins. That is what is mentioned. Brahmins doesn't mean you have to get a Brahmin from somewhere outside. What it means is some people who can be fed. What is the kind of food that is to be made? That is also mentioned. Okay? Why is it mentioned? Because those are sattvic foods. If it is mentioned, then don't use onion or whatever other things that is not to be used, please don't use. So these are the instructions in that. I just give you an instruction related to how the samapti is to be done. That is the end part. If you go through this book, the one whom we are talking about has also given certain instructions. Let us say Ramakrishna Paramahansa is talking to Narendra. Narendra, as you know, is Swami Vivekananda. So he is saying certain words. Why is he saying those words? What is the meaning of those words? It is important to know. Today in the morning we were reading about a tantric person who comes and sits in front of Ramakrishna Paramahansa. And he talks about what is Tantra and all that. And Ramakrishna Paramahansa is talking to him. While he is saying those words, he says, it's a pretty difficult task nowadays, in today's day and age, to follow the Tantra. So then the easiest path is what? The easiest path is to be in love with God and be a devotee of God. That's it. So the person asks him, why is it difficult to follow Tantra? He says, consider today's day and age. People are indisciplined. People do not have that kind of sanctity which they were having in the olden days. We do shortcuts in everything. And that is the reason why people fall while doing this particular path. They follow the path and then they don't know how to reach the goals or the destinations. That is the reason why you got to not do that. So this was a dialogue between this tantric person and Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So I have given you the instructions which Ramakrishna Paramahansa said to this person. So there are certain things which are mentioned. In Sai Baba's Pothi, which is called Sai Sat Charit, there is a person who asks Sai Baba that he has a train to catch and that he wants to leave. Baba says to him, sit down. The person doesn't listen. He says, I have a train to catch, I have to go. And he tries going to the railway station. It's pretty far away, 20 kilometers, I believe. And the train doesn't come till late in the evening. And this was at 11 o'clock in the morning. Till late in the evening, 7 or 8, the train comes. In India, what happens? Used to happen. I don't know about today. But trains are never in time. So Baba was telling him very nicely, sit down. These are called instructions of the Guru. Some people don't seem to realize that these are instructions given by the Guru. Please follow them to the T. They look at him as an ordinary person. So everybody looked at Sai Baba as an ordinary person and they never bothered about it. Baba knew that the train was not going to come. So he was telling him, you sit over here, have your lunch and then go sometime in the afternoon or evening and then it will be good. This man was afraid that he will, the train will go. But whereas that did not happen. So this is what it means to be instructions must be pursued diligently. The Guru gives instructions. The scriptures give instructions. We have to follow them. Now what are the scriptures? I told you they are nothing but storybooks. But there are certain things mentioned in them and we need to follow them very nicely. If the Guru says to you, don't go just now, go later on, do that. If the Guru says, go just now, why is he saying? People may not like it. You may not like it. You may say, oh, he's telling me to get out. There's nothing like that. There is a deeper meaning. And this deeper meaning can never be understood by an average person. A sadhaka also never understands what he says. There are lots of hidden meanings in those things. So you got to know them. And that is why he says you should reflect on this and instructions to be followed diligently. It is an instruction. It's a kind of an order also. Alright? So we are now moving to the next sutra. This is Sutra 77. Nārada Bhakti Sutra, Sutra 77. Waiting for a propitious time when pleasure, pain, desire, profit, etc. are not troubling you, even half a second should not be wasted. Do you understand? Don't even waste half a second. Waiting for a propitious time. What are you trying to wait for? Human beings have this ability to watch stupid stuff on their television or their small screens, in their laptops or in their phones till dead in the night. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. And then they will get up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. Do you think time is going to wait for you? Oh, I am waiting for the right moment, when Narendra Modi says, today you can go out. What are you talking about? The propitious moment is now. This is the moment. Why is this the moment? What makes you think that I am some stupid person sitting here trying to talk my way out of this? No. I am trying to make your time more useful so that you can grow in your world properly. These are instructions. Don't wait for tomorrow because tomorrow may not come. Those who really think that, oh, I will get up tomorrow, I will do this tomorrow, I will do that tomorrow, doesn't happen. Again he says, where pleasure, pain, desire, profit are not troubling you, you are waiting for the time. Today I am in very big trouble. I don't have a job, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have that. When I have that money, when I have that time, when I have that time I will think about it. Narada is telling you, why are you doing this? The time is now. You see, when you are in trouble today, everybody is in trouble, I am sure about it. Most of you are, literally like a jailbirds at home, How do you utilize your time? Isn't it right that at this given moment in time, you should be planning for your future? You should be reading stuff. You should be, gathering data, doing whatever that is necessary, connecting with people on the phone, on your laptops, or going through calls, doing all kinds of stuff. You have been given a holiday so that you can do a lot of stuff which you would have otherwise not done. So do it now. What are you waiting for? Some people asked me a question. See, they said, Guruji, you are telling us to make a small video. But you see, I don't have the camera, I don't have the equipment, I don't have the recording. I said, what are you talking to me on? A cell phone. Does the cell phone have camera? Can the cell phone record? Yes. So you think you're going to buy some equipment and then go and do the recording? Sir, tomorrow may not even come. Okay? The company which might be manufacturing might have shut down. How do you know? Today you have an audience. People are watching. Yesterday's figure talks about 3.5 billion people are there on social network. Do you think it's a joke? 3.5 billion? Just on the Facebook network. Facebook has got Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. 3.5 billion people are seeing, reading, doing something. You have got an audience. So this person who is thinking that I will do it tomorrow, your tomorrow is never going to come. The time is now. Don't wait for this when the pleasure or pain. Today, Guruji, I am going for a party. Before this virus thing happened. No, today, Saturday, I have to go out. Sunday, I have to do this. Monday, I am doing this. I have to go to work. Oh, you have your entire week booked as if like you are the president or the prime minister of a country. Look at yourself. You are nobody. And that nobody is saying my diary is full. Come on. Don't be so silly. Your diary is not full. There is nothing in the diary. If you were worth that amount of money, you would be sitting for a conference like, Jack Ma and all those people who keep on sitting. They are trying to give some great advice. See? And their every second counts, isn't it? What does your second count? How many billions does it count in? Nothing. So I gave you material worldly way of looking at today's day and age. This is a time when you can do so much. Don't give this explanation that I am tired, I am hungry, I have got the problem, this is happening and that is happening and I cannot do this. These are excuses. Don't give excuses. Not to yourself. Don't say that, I'm so tired. Whereas if today, if I light a fire under your ass, you will go running right away just now. You know that very well. Then what makes you think that you are so busy? Don't give that crap. When the time comes, Guruji, I have to get inspiration. What? Do you think of yourself as J.K. Rowling or something like that? Or you think you are some Steven Spielberg? I should get some inspiration. I think inspiration is going to... I have to look at the stars first, What you are talking about? There is nothing like getting inspiration from some stars. Of course there is, today 4 different planets are in a row. You can go and see that outside. Or some 2 days ago you saw the orange moon also. Yeah, that's a very good sign. Don't talk that. Okay? Inspiration? Start writing. Start doing something. Okay? in school also, when we had nothing to do, we were playing the tabla on our desk. You know that, no? Children find inspiration in anything. They want to do this, everything. They want to do everything. Become a child. Find inspiration that every minute of your life. Don't waste talking. Don't waste your time going here and there and thinking, oh, I got to think. I have to go to the toilet, sit on the toilet seat. Then I am going to think. It will take me half an hour. I have some people in my world who give me this explanation. They think of themselves as the great thinker. You remember that thinker who sits on that seat like this and thinking? You are not going to become anybody. No. There is so much to do right now. There are courses which have never been free are available to you. You have got 24 hours in your life. Don't say I am busy 24 hours. Alright? Let us come back to our spiritual discussion over here. Enough of this, I think you will get bored one day. Guruji is only trashing us, But I am telling the truth. You see, we love to give reasons. Okay? So let us come back to what Narada is saying. Narada is saying, waiting for a propitious time when pleasure, pain, desire, etc. are not troubling you. Even half a second should not be wasted. Same applies in the material world. That is why I said. So here, on the path of devotion, don't say, once I am free from this mundane life of going to work, then I will come and sit. Once my examinations are over, I will find some time to sit. One person told me, once my examinations are over, I will sit and I will talk to you. I am still waiting. Examinations? Sir, 21 days, so there is nothing going on. You know that, I know that. So examinations is not. Now the new studies have started. Oh, they were anyway going to start. So you don't have time between that. People are sitting at home. I would have said in olden times, hatching eggs. I can't even say hatching eggs nowadays. They are doing nothing. I am busy on a call with my company, Oh. So what Narada is saying over here, don't give excuses. The path of devotion is such that you cannot give any excuses whatsoever. Don't bother about saying, when my daughter's wedding gets done, I have people for telling me this. In the spiritual path, they came to me, they came, Guruji. You see, when they come, they will always be so humble and all. Guruji, I would like to meet you. Okay, and then what happens? When my daughter gets married, I will definitely find time. Daughters get married. They will be on the path to having their second child also. Still, I am waiting. Guruji, I am waiting. Nothing is happening. Why? Because after reaching one target, then they reach another one. After the one got married, then I have to look after my parents. After that, after I look after my parents, then I have to look after... What are you talking about? Do you think you have so much time in hand? No, I am doing my Vishnu Sahasranam and this and that. Sir, your Vishnu Sahasranam is not going to take you anywhere. The path of devotion is very clear. Please remember this. Don't waste even a minute. By saying all those, 1 hour of prayer or doing meditation is not going to take you anywhere. Have we not discussed this on the path of devotion? Check the Vedas out. Didn't Narada say these words? Chuck the Vedas out. Chuck all your exercises out of the window. Devotional path has nothing to do with it. It is just talking about, can you be, in the la-la land of love? Just be in love with God. So the first thing he said, read storybooks. Read them. Go understand all these scriptures that are there, simple ones, not the complicated. Then he says, what else you are supposed to do? Meet your guru. Do satsangs. You have a phone, you have internet, you have everything. What is stopping you? What is stopping you? So Narada is saying, these are excuses. When I have this time, don't say that. When all this problem in my life goes away, don't say that, because pain is mentioned over here. I am in pain, No. And then he says, all the desires of my life. What are the desires of my life? First I got to build a house. Then I got to have this. Then I got to have that. After all these things, I got to also save for my retirement. You see? After I save for my retirement, after I have ensured that I get, every year on year or month on month a kind of a pension which I am enjoying. This is my lifestyle, you see. What? Narada will look at you and say, is that so? You really think you are going to enjoy your pension? You see, when you are 60 years old, I will ensure that the whole thing gets wiped out. Then what are you going to do? From the age of 60, you will start working once again? This is not the way. Do it now. You may be 40, you may be 45, you may be 30, you may be 20, doesn't matter. Age is not the criteria, because you are looking at the physical age of the body, not who you are. You don't have an age. You have just taken this body, the bottle, this body is a bottle, it is going to break any minute. You understand? Glass bottle, one day everything is gone. Then what do? So, when all this is not troubling you, don't say those words, do it. And that is the reason why it is important to do it right here and now. This importance has to be understood. In many cases, a person doesn't realize how bad their condition is. One day, a person says, he comes to a great sage and tells him, you see, I have a family and I love my family so much. My wife is very good. My children are very nice. I have a mother at home and blah, 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 all that. But I want to be in spiritual. Can I be in spiritual? So the Guruji says, how is your family with you? Oh, they all love me so much. They are literally in love with me. And we are a very close family. Is that so? So he says, do one thing. If you think that is the case, I will give you one pill. Okay, eat that pill when you go home. After that, I will come. Alright? Nothing will happen. You will just fall asleep over there, but you will be able to hear everything. So he goes home, sleeps on his bed, takes the pill, and his body becomes stiff. He can hear everything. So the Guru comes to their house. Everybody is crying over there that this person is dead. So the Guru says to those people, there is no problem, you see, I can definitely revive him. But one of you has to take his place. So he goes and asks the old mother, would you give your life so that your son can be revived? You see, he's a young man, you are an old woman. You have seen enough life. The woman looks at him and says, are you crazy? I have too many things to do. This whole house I have to run, And now that he is not there, who is going to run? Whom do you think he is going to run? His wife is over here, his children are over there, the whole house has to be taken care of. There is a cow in the cow shed, all these things are there. What do you think I should be doing? I cannot give my life. Then he comes to the wife and says the same thing. Are you willing to exchange places with him? The wife says, you see, he was supposed to die, he is dead now, what can you do? Just let it be, no? You see, he is not going to take care of the children. The children are very small. I have to be there. I am the mother of the children. So I have to be there to take care of these children. So it's okay, let him die. I mean, if he's dead, he's dead. It's okay. And like that, every person in the family is asked this and every person denies it. And then the master, he taps this person and says, get up. So he gets up. And then he says, this is the family you were talking about, who seem to be in love with you. Nobody gives a damn. No wife, no mother, no father, nobody gives a damn to you. You are dead means you are dead. Finished. They will cry for you for a day or two. After that, nobody is going to give a damn. So if you think that you have achieved something by being with family and people like this, I think you are completely mistaken. So like Narada, he says, this is the propitious time. This is the time. Get up. So the person gets up and tells the Guru, you are so right, I cannot waste my time even for a moment. I just have to do it right now. And he walks out of the house. Now this is a story told by Ramakrishna Paramahansa. This is a story from our olden scriptures also. So I have told you a story which has been told earlier also. And this is a truth which you can test it out yourself. I'm not asking you to take a pill and then fall down dead, okay? Otherwise you'll tell me, Guruji ne bola tha. Nothing like that. What I mean is, the same people that you think, the same desires that you feel that you have to fulfill, you yourself are the judge. Way back in time you thought, that I will buy a house. Who is living in that house? You are not. You are giving it out on rent. Look at the way the people treat the rented houses. They treat it worse than a pit. Like a cowshed, So nobody is bothered. You are paying the EMI throughout your life. 20 years, 25 years, you are paying EMI to the bank or that institution. Your hairs have turned grey. Okay, you have become an old person also. At the age of 40 only, you look like as if you are 60 years old. Most of the men, they start balding and white hairs. And you look at them and they say, something is wrong with this guy. And they have all kinds of diseases in the world. Why? Because in their world, they are thinking that this is how it has to be done. After my EMIs get over, after my house becomes mine, after I make arrangements for everything, things are going to work. Doesn't happen that way. You got to do it now. And that is the reason why Narada said these words. Okay. So, the next verse that is there is a little bit, we have reached 78. We have just got another day or two left. Alright. I have received a certain number of questions. We have come to the end of verse 77. Alright, so I'll stop over there. So I will just tell you, we have received a certain number of questions. I am going to attempt to answer them for those who wish to hear. I am also attempting a small book along the way. So we are continuing with the 4:30 satsang every day. Hopefully. Not because of coronavirus, but let us hope that not coronavirus should not be the reason for it. It's like you are trying to be in spiritual. That helps. Satsangs are very good. So please send your questions. Even on the Facebook page, there is a section below where you can write the comments. If you go to Facebook page of ours, KrsnaKnows, there is a WhatsApp number. You can WhatsApp. There is the website where you can write your questions. If you are there on Google Hangouts, you can write over there. Make the questions relevant so that you get the proper answers. Okay, so I'm going to try 1 or 2 questions per day. Let us see how it goes. And then we will carry on from there. So tomorrow we will do Sutra 78 onwards. 78 and 79 are slightly, they are going to take time. But after that it is literally finished. Because till 83 it is there. Then there is nothing. The last few verses are very simple. They are not so complicated. So we have come to the end of this particular thing. And like every day, we will have one small story session. Now in a story today, you will be surprised to know this story because it's a very strange story. The strangeness is because we are doing Nārada Bhakti Sutra, part of devotion, and how did this story come up? Would be the question. You know Kabir, correct? So Kabir was a great saint of North India, and everybody knows about his dohas and the beautiful stuff that he has done. But how many of you know the Kabir from South? I think very few people know him. So there was a Kabir in the South as well. So his name was Shishunala Sharif. Muhammad Sharif. Alright. Now the moment I say Muhammad Sharif, are you not talking about a Muslim? I say, of course I am talking about a Muslim. But look at what happened with him. His name was Shishunala Sharif. So he was from this Haveri district again in Karnataka. Alright. He was the son of the Imam Sahib. Imams are big people. In every village they have the Imam. So he was the son of an Imam. Now think about it. You may think that the Imam would definitely teach him all about, the scriptures from the Quran and all those kind of stuff. So he was a disciple of a person called Hajresha Kadri. Now Kadri was his guru. Who? The Imam's guru. So the Kadri was a very strange person. Because he used to give Diksha. Doesn't it sound strange? And it is called Linga Diksha. You know there is an entire community of Lingayats here in South. I'm sure you know that. Huh? So there are Lingayats over here. They have Linga Diksha. So this person, he would give Linga Diksha. So he gave it to Shishunala Sharif. Now he was interested in all the scriptures. Shishunala, we'll call him Sharif. Okay, let us make it simple. So Sharif was interested in all the scriptures, so he had to find some Hindu guru, isn't it? So he found a person. And that person's name was Govind Bhatt. Now this Govind Bhatt was also a very strange guy. He never followed any of these, the scriptures will say, no, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. So all these other people are called mlechas. He would give the scriptures knowledge to everybody. So there was no restriction in his world. People have restrictions in those times. This is way back in 18th century, 18th, 19th. So naturally there were a lot of restrictions. But this man, he said, no, I will give this knowledge to anybody who came. So it so happened that Govind Bhatt, he used to roam all over South India. was a great scholar as well as a great guru. So one day he came to this village of theirs. The name of the village, I did not tell you, it is in Haveri district. It is the name of the village is also called by Shishuvanala. Shishuvanala. It's an important destination. Okay, in the future, if you have time, go and visit it. So, I'll give you the reasoning later on. So he was in that village and he was sitting under the tree. So Imam Sahib, the father of our hero, Sharifa, he goes over there and looks at this person and he says, Govind, but it's a great guy, He's come to our village. So he goes to say hello to him, pranam and all that. So when he is doing that, he says, I have a son. I would like you to meet my son. So they call Sharifa. Sharifa, come. So Govind Bhatt asks him a question. Who is your father? It's a simple question. So Sharifa looks at him and says, why are you asking me this stupid question? Your father and my father is the same. It's a very strange answer, isn't it? But Sharifa is talking very deep spirituality. Your father and my father is the same. And the Imam Sahib is so happy and Bhatta is also happy and he says, oh my God, this person is ready for it. So he says, can you come with me? So Shishunala follows him. So Sharifa follows the Guru. He goes and he takes training under this great master. There are a number of stories along with it which happened. Some of them I will tell you. The 2-3 I will tell you. In the first story, both of them are sitting together. Okay, side by side. And all the other disciples, they are very angry. They are saying, why are you taking this dirty fellow next to you? He is not to be taken, He is not a Hindu. So the Guru looks at him and he says, he is greater than any Brahmin today. Please understand this. And he removes his Janevu. Janevu? The sacred thread, the thread ceremony. And he puts it around Sharifa. He says, see, he's my son now. What are you going to do about it? The training goes on. One day, both the Guru and the Shishya are going to some village along with others. So they come across a path where it is fully thorny. The path is strewn with thorns. So the Guru crosses over because he is wearing the padukas, the wooden padukas. So he goes to the other side, and from the other side he tells these boys, all these young disciples of his, I will throw you my padukas, wear them and come on this side. So that we can each, keep on throwing and the other person can come. So he throws the padukas and all the other students refuse to even touch it. They say, how can we wear our Guru's padukas? Sharifa wears them, crosses the path, goes on the other side and then looks around and says, can I throw them? Everybody says, how can you wear Guru's padukas? It is Guru's instructions. He says, I am following my Guru's instructions. My Guru wants me to follow him. That is why I am following him. The rest of the people stay behind. They don't come. And these two Guru Shishya go ahead. This is a kind of relationship he had. Then many years go by. One day the Guru is sitting over there. He is very much in the last stages of his life, Bhatta. So he is bringing out, vomiting. So one day he is literally vomiting and the vomit is falling on the floor, and the Guru says, don't step on it. The other people are there, they are looking, they are saying, what is to be done, what is to be done, what is to be done. Don't step on it is the answer. Sharifa eats that whole thing up. I know it sounds gross, but this is the truth. And he says, this is the only place where nobody will tread on my Guru's vomit. And the Guru blesses him. And then he dies. Sharifa is then left alone. He goes back to his native place. He's married off. He becomes a school teacher. After a few years, his wife dies. When his wife dies, he says, I don't know what to do. I have to go. And he goes from there. The child is taken care of by others. And then he goes and takes that place of Bhatta. He becomes a very great sage and a spiritual master. Many years later, when he is dying, now because he was a Muslim, nobody was willing to touch him. They still had that problem. So finally, you remember Jangams I was telling you all some 2-3 days ago? So there was a great Jangam at that point in time. The idea is to die in such a way, it is a kind of a samadhi that you take, where when you are dying, you are lying on the ground, and when you are lying on the ground, the body has to be smeared with ash and the feet have to be touched by the Jangam. The Jangam keeps his feet on the head. So this Jangam kept the feet on his head and he passed away. Today, in the same village of Shishivanala in Haveri district, there are 2 samadhis side by side of this great Sufi saint, Shishivanala Sharifa. He did a lot of miracles also. Now I don't have the time for all that. So I just wanted to tell you the kind of devotion that is required is of that caliber. The Guru and the Shishya relationships are very, very strange, And that is a kind of a disciple. That is a kind of a devotee. The devotion to the Guru. Can you imagine what devotion he had? That is required. So we have come to the end of today's satsang. Take care of yourself and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.